All right, we are live. We are live, coming to you from Smoke Therapy, 215 Ronkonkoma Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York. Once again, I am honored by Pete O'Shea's appearance on Angie's Angles.
Hey, everybody.
Here we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Angie's Angles. It is me with Pete O'Shea coming to you live from Florida. It is March
Hey,
5th in the year of my Lord, 2026. So I just returned, Pete, from a birthday week um, spectacular down in St. Petersburg. Went to go see my buddy. He turned 60. I turned 61. We share the same birthday, March the 2nd. So again, a happy belated birthday to my buddy and to me.
happy belated birthday to you both. Did you see any games while you were down there?
So we were supposed to see the Pirates and the Orioles, which we did. And I knew this was dicey, but Pete Alonso chose not to make the trip. So there was no Pete Alonso. But it was a good game. We went to Bradenton where the Pirates AAA team, the Marauders, play. Beautiful stadium. Pricey, Pete. That kind of it was a little sticker shock for me. It was $10 for a hot dog, another
Whoa.
six, another $6 for a soda. The tickets alone were $60 each.
For what? For a spring
Six
training game?
for a
50.
spring training game, brother. Hey Harold, what's going on?
What's up, Harold? What's going on, my brother?
And then we
That's a lot
so
of dough for a spring training. How much was the
yeah,
park? Another $20, right?
yeah, $20 for parking. Absolutely. Yep. It's crazy.
So you're
Absolute
going off a
insanity.
C note on this thing for a game, and Alonzo didn't even show on you. Oh, that hurts.
Sadly. But
You don't suppose there was a rumor that he heard you were coming.
yeah, I was gonna bum rush him, right?
He was scared to face you, I think. If I'm being honest, I think he was scared to face you.
Yeah, that's possible. That's quite possible. Well, not so much. Listen, I'm in Pete's camp. I'm in Alonso's camp. I think the Mets showed him the door. I think they treated him like the ugly redheaded stepchild at
I
home. Hey,
agree.
Harold Atkins, what's going on? Harold
Hey, bud.
Samuelson, no truer words could be spoken. Baseball is killing itself.
Yeah,
Hallelujah. I agree with that, Harold,
I
for
agree with
sure.
that assessment also.
Now we got this ABS we got to deal with. It's unbelievable.
How about this?
Absolutely.
McCutcheon signed with the Rangers today. Where's the loyalty, Pittsburgh? He wanted one more year. He's been there forever. He's your guy. He
I
could
didn't
have been
know
a
that.
great role
Oh my
model.
god,
He signed a minor league deal with the Rangers today.
that's awful. That's
It's
an awful way to treat
disgusting.
him.
Where's the loyalty in the game anymore? He asked them, he called, and he said, listen, I know you just got these other guys, but just give me 1 year. I'll come off the bench. And they said no. That's disgusting. Okay.
That is
Talk about
absolutely
baseball eating itself, like Harold just said. And
right.
again, I agree with you 100%. It drives me nuts. If you think about the changes the Mets made on this team with getting Bichette and Roberts and Simeon and all these other guys, if you still had Alonso on this team, I would give you 110 wins with this team. Okay, I do. It was only 2 more years is all they had to go, and they were already going towards 40 million already. They could have gone there. They could have done it. It should have been done. We should be having Pete with us still. It was going to still drive me mad. I like you. I didn't mind so much. Edwin Diaz left. I wanted the trumpet guy though. I wanted him to stay. I like that guy. He was good, the trumpet dude.
It
But
would
we
be it
lost
would
him.
be great if Devin Williams picked up on the trumpets.
Yeah, we got to get Devin Williams to do something with and I think the trumpet guy went with Diaz. I think he was part of the deal.
That's possible.
Just like that Anthony Guerrero is part of everything Brady does, and like the other guy is with that guy and the Balco dudes. It's one of those smelly things.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a personalized catcher for a pitcher.
You hit it right on the head. There it is. There it is. There it's Eduardo Perez is what it is.
Yeah, it's funny. Hey Richie, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you being here on Angie's Angles. So I just got off the plane yesterday after spending a week in St. Petersburg. Um, got some. I saw the SpaceX launch from the balcony.
Nice.
It was fantastic. I missed the red moon because I didn't wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go see that. We caught a couple of sunsets that were just absolutely phenomenal. Beautiful. I dipped my toes in the pool twice because the temperature hit 80, so I was happy. So now we're back to reality.
So that was you only went to the one game total?
Yes, just
Okay.
the Oriole Padre Oriole Pirate game.
Okay. And let me ask you, in that game, did anything or anybody strike you interesting? Was there anybody on either side there? Did you get a chance to see that Bubba Chandler fella from Pittsburgh? How did he look?
Bubba Chandler, was he the pitcher?
No, he's that big hit kid that hits the. Oh no, wait, is that him? Yeah. And who's the other kid that hits the home runs for them
The
now?
Connor Griffin kid.
Yeah, that's the kid.
Right.
Connor Griffin and the other guy. You're
Yeah,
right. He's a
Griffin
pitcher.
played.
How those? Did you see any of those guys?
Yeah. Connor, I think, had a double to the gap.
Mm.
It's pretty good. The good thing about the ball game was that we had front row seats because I purposely did that. I had tickets right at the first base, right at first base, in
You.
case Alonso, in case Alonso. I had placards ready. I had
I'm sure
everything
you
going.
did.
I
Oh
wore my
my god.
Alonso City Connect jersey. I just wanted Pete. I just wanted to let Pete know that he's still loved.
You
He's still
still
loved.
love your Petey boy. We love your polar bear. Dude, you're
Hey,
hilarious.
Danica, what's going on? Hey. What do we got?
So
What's the countdown, Danica? What do we got? We got 9 days, Danica, right? And we'll be sailing the seven seas.
9 days. All right.
Danica's going
So
on the cruise with us.
what was the experience from the first row for an exhibition game? Was that a great and just the experience alone, the vibe, was it really good?
Well, yeah, it was a pretty full house. Um, limited seating, obviously. What do they have? Like 12,000 seats, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but something should be noted. Every time an ABS was challenged, every time a ball strike was challenged, I got it right. I got it right. I
You got
said
it
ball.
right?
Yeah. So if the batter, it was called a strike and it was a ball, I would say nope, that was a strike or a ball, and I wasn't wrong. So interesting.
Maybe we should change it to the Angelo balls and strikes,
Mm.
and you could be the one that decides it instead of a computer.
Did you see there was a hiccup that they couldn't get the on one of the games they couldn't get it to register? So
Oh, already had a little technical
yeah,
difficulties,
I
huh?
mean crazy. I mean they're implementing all these rules to speed up the game. Yet now you get two challenges per team, unlimited if you get the call right. If you
If you
challenge
wait, if
it,
you get one call right, then you get unlimited,
no. So you get two per team.
right?
If the first batter challenges it and it's right, you keep the two. You don't lose one.
Oh
So as
wow,
long as you continuously to be correct, it's unlimited.
wow. Okay, so you only
Yeah,
lose.
so
Oh wow,
right. You only lose your challenge if you're wrong.
wow.
Right. So in my humble opinion, there's no reason why the leadoff hitter should challenge anything. There's no reason in the third, fourth, unless you got second and third, bases loaded, 3-2 count, and there's no harm, no foul in challenging it, in my humble opinion.
It would have
And
to be extremely obvious that they were wrong. Otherwise, you have to save those challenges for the juicy moments of the game where you need them. You know.
and I'm really mad at myself because I saw the article, I saw the comment. One of the pitchers said that these umpires are human, and there should be a plus or minus 1 inch on the ABS challenge. Because
Mm.
some of these challenges, when the ABS pops up, the ball is a micro centimeter from being a ball or a strike, and you should give these umpires a 1 inch plus or minus ability to call the right pitch.
You agree with that?
Yes, I don't. I totally agree with it.
Now you've done some umpiring yourself, so
Yes,
I'm curious to know psychologically what does this do to the umpires? A, knowing the system is there, and B, getting overturned in front of 50,000 people. What is this going to do for the psyche of these umpires?
it's a horrible implementation to Major League Baseball because, again, Pete, part of the love affair that I have with baseball is being able to throw my remote control at the television. Okay. They're in essence taking that away from me. Now it's saving me shekels in my pocket so I don't have to replace too many TVs. So thank you for that. But I want to yell and scream. I want to call the up bomb for God's sakes.
I agree. I
You
also
know,
agree
that's
that baseball is not supposed to be perfect. Nothing's supposed to
right.
go exactly right. Things
Correct.
aren't supposed to go that way. We've heard so many games where we still remember it because the call went the wrong way. And it just happens. It's part of the game. And you're taking that out of it too. But I hate what it's doing for the umpires. These guys are human beings, and you're basically telling them, we know you aren't getting it right, and we're going to embarrass you in front of everybody.
Right.
And I don't like this. I think it's really bad to do. I get it now. It's the first step towards eliminating the umpires, so they don't really care about the umpire. They're literally saying, we're one step away from replacing you, so we don't have to give a rat's ass about you anymore. And they're
Right.
doing that in a way that shows us again that the game has become plastic. It's become nothing like the game you, me, Harold, the other Harold, all of us grew up with. I barely recognize this game. And like you, I squarely put the blame at Rob Manfred, but I'm also going to put the blame at these nouveau owners who come popping in with their billions, like Walters out there in Los Angeles, who puts his billionaire consortium together and comes into the game and just destroys everything. I've seen everybody running wild. Everyone was worried about Cohen. He's been the most behaved of all the owners the last couple of years, has he not? He's ran
Yeah.
the line the right way. When Correa turned out to have the bad ankle, he stepped away. He didn't spend the money anyway, like everybody else did. He said, "No, thank you." He's been prudent. Everybody wants to get on Cohen that he spends too much. He actually, him and Stearns together, have towed the line, especially this off season, for a big market team. And there's really a chance now for everybody to see, well, wait a minute. It's the Dodgers ruining the game, not Cohen. It's
Well,
Manfred ruining the game, not Cohen.
I'll agree with they told the line and restructured um, the player pool with one exception. We all know what that one exception is. It's Pete,
Mhm.
Morgan, Alonso. Um, just the fanfare of having the home run king of the franchise not be on the team anymore. It's just mind boggling. It's just mind boggling. Hey, Carmen, thanks for showing up. I appreciate you, brother.
Did you
I
see
got Harold.
Strauss?
Good.
Did you see Strauss comments on it?
Yeah, I did see and then he was re-questioned, and he says, you know, the initial comment was that Pete walked away from the Mets, and I went right on Facebook. I said I'm calling BS on that, Daryl, and Daryl and I were tight back in the day. You know, the Mets gave Pete no option, or actually one option is to leave, which he
Right.
wound up doing. Right? I mean, again, we talked about this ad nauseum. 5 years at $155 million was not breaking the bank.
Not for what he produces, but do you know the other part of it where when Pete Alonso broke the record and signed the ball, he wrote "Straw No More" on it.
Right.
And a lot of Met fans, a lot of Strawberry fans got upset with Alonso for that. And so now my guess is Strawberry now making his comments because he says he wasn't hurt by that. He
Right.
was
He
on
does
the
say
show
that.
with the two basketball players, Jackson and the other guy, the Smoke Show they have, the podcast. And he went on and on about how Alonso is going to regret this and this and that. And I agree with you. He had no say in the matter. The Mets gave him no chance to stay. He would have worked with them. Even if they've met in the middle at 4 years, brother, he would have said, okay,
Right.
just
Four
do a
years,
little more than
160.
three.
4 years, 160.
4 years, 160 is
And and
nothing in this game.
and
Think
and we
about it.
and we discussed this, right? They were already on the hook, and we said this. It was already on their ledger. Pay Pete Alonso $24 million for
That's
this year.
right.
So all you had to do was pay him an extra $14 million. So
Not only that,
you know what I'm saying? You
yeah.
already had him for 24 if he opted in, but being the fact that he opted out, all right, you pump this year up to 40 million, and then it's a 3-year deal.
And you also have to look at this too. Contracts with a guy like him, look at a couple other ones that aged well. Okay, Manny Machado is still producing 10 years into a contract at his age. Okay,
Big
there's
Poppy.
other Yeah, there's other guys that the long-term deal wound up working out really, really well. Right now, Bryce Harper's annual AAV is only 26 million off that big deal he signed a couple years ago. So these contracts are aging well as far as the AAV is concerned. So in 2 years from now, it would have looked like a steal, the Alonso deal.
Yeah,
That's how fast
I
the
don't
market
disagree.
moves.
I don't disagree. And then you would have had that 35 plus homer, 110 RBI guarantee in that lineup. Correct.
And then Polanco DHs, and you had Beatty and Viento to use as trade chips to get Screwball, and you could have done this the right way. And then you spent no more than you would have spent the other way, and you got yourself the big bopper that you really need, the home run king of your team. Who again, that contract would have grown well. If you're Philadelphia and you're only paying Harper 26, you got to be happy. San Diego's only paying Manny Machado something like 28 or something like that, and he's still producing. Those contracts, if you're still a good player and you are dedicated, you still put the work in. You're looking at guys like Salvador Perez is 38 years old, still hitting 40 home runs, okay? And catching. Okay. So don't tell me Pete can't do it for 5 more years, because that's ridiculous. Even if you had to shove him over the DH in 3 years, you still would have got 5 years. You would have got another 150 to 200 home runs out of him, which would have put him near 500 and in the Hall of Fame as a Met. And you didn't even care about that at
As a
all. You
bona
did.
fide Met, as our only true Met other than Seaver that's in the Hall of Fame.
You can't even say Steve is a true Met. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, got his.
you're right. You're absolutely right because
Came. I
and
want to
Ronald
say it
Grant,
because he's my absolute
right,
favorite, but he got a no
right,
hitter with Cincinnati. He won a
right,
Cy Young with Cincinnati. So
right.
I can't say he was all there. He won his 300th game with the White Sox.
I
Okay.
know,
All right.
disgusting.
So that hurts when I say that out loud. I hurt my sinus canal hurt when I said that. Right, but it happens because again, we just talked about with Harold. Where's the loyalty? The Mets left him on waivers, So
I want to respond to Harold Sanderson.
okay,
He
go
said
ahead.
he says get the call right and you won't be embarrassed. Well, Harold, yes and no, right? Um, we're human, right? So, Harold, you used to work in a cigar lounge, and you might have met me, and I said, yeah, I'm looking for a mild cigar, Harold, and not too heavy, and a nice draw, and you turn me on to this dark leaf cigar, Maduro, and I don't like it. You made a slight error, right? You
Incy
made a
Wincy.
tiny error, and that's why I wholeheartedly agree with this picture. And I got to go look it up online who said it because I think it's brilliant. I think you should have a 1 inch buffer on all balls and strikes that are challenged because sometimes the ball dips at the last minute. The ball is rising, moving, etc., etc. You got a nanosecond to make that call. A nanosecond.
All right. How about this idea? How about 1 inch square? You just increase the strike zone.
I'm all right with that. And I just want to acknowledge my friend Johnny. Thanks for the comments, John. I appreciate you.
What did Johnny have to say?
He said, great show, guys. And whatever diatribe you on, Pete, a couple minutes ago, he says you're on the money. So
All right.
Johnny's giving us positives. Harold Atkins says the game started to change after the strike when they broke up the old NL East and based everything on geography. Mets versus Cubs, Cardinals and Pirates were big rivalries for me when I was growing up. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Harold. And now now you got these formats are strange. And now I hope Rob Manfred. I think the year is 2027 when he retires. Rob Manfred. I hope he never implements the restructuring and making two leagues, the National League and the American League, and making the Mets play the Yankees and incorporating that shit. And it's not
Yeah.
going to work for me.
It's not going to work for me either. We have to have the traditional remember things we remembered about baseball. We're losing all of them. Everything we remember that were tradition, and everything is broken it down. You can blame not only that, the strike, you can blame the steroids, you can throw in there the gambling, you can throw in there four or five other things that have all turned this game into the money, and then the money breakdown when the local TV contracts all fell apart the last 2 years. It's a house of cards. Most of the teams are supported by the other owners' outside interests, like Steinberg has to do in Tampa Bay and so many other teams, because it's a house of cards. There's a $10
Right.
billion industry, but it's refined into 15 teams. The other 15 teams don't make any money. It's a flawed system. Right? I don't want a salary cap necessarily if it's going to be in a strike, but it works for the NFL. They have parity for a reason because they have that cap. The NBA has the bird rule for a reason so that you don't lose your key free agents. You get to keep them, or a transition tag or something like that. Baseball has none of those things. And you wonder why everybody's spending wild, like a sailor coming into port. Hey, I just got back and I got all this money. Yeah, but look what you did. You fielded a team that only won, that didn't make the playoffs, right? And we see that with so
Absolutely.
many, right? And so how many big market teams last year regret the spending? Philadelphia, New York, Atlanta, ba 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 ba. None of them got their money's worth last year overall on what they spent. So you have to either rein this game in, figure it out what you're doing, or restructure everything economically at least, so that, so that there's a chance. Or contract. I think they should just. If you can't keep up, go down. You have to go play in AAA. We should do it like it is in Europe. The four teams that are not spending every year and are not winning every year have to go down to AAA.
And we spoke about that on a past podcast, Pete, that I don't agree with a salary cap at all because this is America, and kudos to the owners if they can pay the money, and kudos to the players if they can earn the money, right? So that's that's what do they call that? What's the word I'm looking for? Capitalism, right? That's capitalism at its best, right there, and that's what America's
Sure.
founded on. I want to acknowledge John, my buddy, who's a diehard, huge Yankee fan, but claims that Alonso was one of his favorites. Um, Dana, I want to acknowledge you. Hi, Dana. Thanks for logging in. I appreciate you. And
Hey,
here's
Dana.
another comment that John wants us to talk about. After the remark from the Phillies GM, how do you think Harper's going to be? It's a great question, John, and I'll open it up to you, Pete, in a minute. My take is Harper is one of my least favorite players. Okay,
Me too.
I'm not a Harper fan, but I digress because I relate Harper to me, and let me tell you the story. When I was on the ball field, the opposite team hated my guts, hated me, but to a man, they wished I was on their team. So you understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
Because
yes, I do.
I gave 110% between the lines. And how can you not like somebody who gives 110%? Now, if Harper was on my team, I guess I'd come to like him because he's a competitor. He gets angry when it gets out. He gets pissed. He takes it personally. And I'm tired of seeing these guys walk back to the dugout with a little smile on their face, in their head. You can see the wheels turning, counting their monies that they just made. So
Posing for the camera.
right now, Harper will take that bat, and some bats have not survived the wrath of Harper, if you know what I mean. You know, so I think Harper, John. I think Harper's going to be Harper. Um, I think that GM was way out of line. It's kind of like your boss at work saying, oh, thanks for the $1 million sales last week, but you were shy 100,000.
Hmm.
What's wrong with you? I had a boss come into my job once. I was working in Manhattan at Brew College, and my office was messy. It was chaotic. And he says, "You don't think you could straighten up?" And I said to him, his name was Rad. I said, "Rad, what part of the $60,000 a week business you want me to give back so I could have 10 minutes to clean my office?" I go, "Let me know, because I'll be happy to do it." You know what I'm saying? So
Let me know.
they're not happy. They're not happy unless you're redlining and you're killing yourself out there every day to get the job done. So I'm not a big Harper fan, but I think that was a low blow to him, and I don't think he's going to react. I don't think his performance is going to take a hit. I think Harper wants to excel. I think Harper's got a chip on his shoulder. I think Harper goes home and looks at the video and sees his inconsistencies or what he did that made him successful in that game. What say you, Pete?
Well, first of all, I'm also not a Harper fan. I would Papelbon his ass in a minute if I was his teammate. I would smack him around and knock the moose out of his hair. But I will tell you this, I do think he's a good ball player still. I think it was really dumb of Dombrowski to go
Yeah.
calling him out in public. You do that in the clubhouse, you do it privately, you take him to the side and you go, hey, dude, come on, man, we need you to rev it up another notch. We need you. I think he's going to miss Castellano. I think they all are over there in that team. I think Schwarber will start to see a decline over the next couple of years, and I think that whole team is going to start to see a decline. I don't think you'll ever see Harper at 35 and 100 RBIs again. I think he'll have a decent year just because he wants to shut up Dombrowski, but he's done with the days of being a superstar. I think he is a above average player and a below average first baseman.
I was at the game, 2024, where we beat the Phillies, the last game of the season. I think it was the last game of the season. And I have to tell you, every time Harper came up, I held my breath because he was the one guy that could beat us. So his presence is still baseball godlike with a lowercase g. He's got that power to change the game on a dime.
I think that power is waning. I think he's had his better day that way. I think he's more of a 285 hitter, 20 homers, 80 RBIs, maybe starts learning how to run again a little bit, and he eventually settles into the two hole in that lineup. I don't think he's a big gunner anymore. I think his days as a big bopper, or I think it's more of a myth. It's more of how he did, not what he's done now.
So write this down and we'll revisit it. I got Harper at 35 home runs.
I got him at 26.
Okay. Fair. So I'm
26 homers, 80 RBIs.
gonna put you down as 26 home runs for Pete, and I got 35. I think he's gonna do 35, 110.
Okay. If he does it, that he'll do it just because Dombrowski showed him up. But I think
Yeah,
his days have been able to do that are over.
I think that's his impetus. I think that's his I think Dombrowski just dangled the carrot in front of his cart, to be honest with you.
You better hope that worked, man, because if it didn't, that could cost Dombrowski his job, man.
Yeah, without a doubt. That is a
Okay.
stupid statement I've heard from an executive in a very long time.
It's a big roll of the dice because Bryce Harper is still signed there for several years. He is popular there amongst the fans, and they don't have much else in the way of a replacement for him at first base or any other. They have Turner and they got Schwarber, but the rest of that lineup isn't as long as it used to be now. And so they need him, and so they need him more than they need Dombrowski. That's for dang sure. So if he better hope that at the end of the season, Harper puts his arm around him and goes, "Thanks for motivating me, Dom."
Yeah. So that comment ranks right up there with Gary Cohen's comment about Daniel Murphy being a net negative. And the funny thing about that is, I was watching a spring training game on TV, and Murph was in the booth with Gary Cohen. I wanted to know how that went when the mic went off. I mean, I'm not a fan of Gary Cohen. Gary Cohen was really good 10 years ago, but he's lost his edge as well. Just like we all age, we all lose a step. But you got Gary Cohen, calling home runs on warning ball flies and misnaming players on the field who just got pinch hit for, and he's not paying attention to the game.
Well, play-by-play, as you know, is a lot harder to do than color commentary is, especially if you're the third guy in the booth. That's a piece of cake job. You're just basically eating a hot dog and saying, "Hey, good play," every once in a while. "Hey, just a bit outside." You get to just do that every once in a while.
So this whole ABS is going to be interesting, and I'm going to try to, at least with the Mets, I'm going to track their calls, their
Are you
challenges.
really? Are you gonna track it?
Yeah, I'm going to try to track it. Yes. And
I love it.
remember, it's only the pitcher and catcher and or the batter that could challenge. Now, for a pitcher to challenge a call with an experienced catcher, I think that's just asinine because the pitcher is 60 feet 6 inches away from that plate. The catcher knows exactly the zone. And if the catcher's not tapping his helmet, you shouldn't be. But it's got to be instantaneous. There's no time delay. You have to call it right away. And some of these pitchers are just full of themselves.
Yeah, but I think that comes down to a dynamic, okay? So if it's a veteran catcher and a young pitcher, yes, the catcher's in charge. The reverse is true. If it's a veteran pitcher and a young catcher, the pitcher's going to make the decision. I think that comes down to the dynamic of that day's battery, who's going to have the biggest say.
That's a good
Uh,
point. Yeah, that's a
okay.
great point. So, as promised, we're going to discuss the top five New York Met prospects, and one of them off the top of the bat is no longer a prospect, in my humble opinion, and that's of
Okay.
course Nolan McLean. Now, Nolan McLean was rated 9 out of 10 stars
Wow.
for his ability. Uh, I certainly think, from what I've seen of him, that he's going to turn into the next. He's got the potential, and this is a big name. And he reminds me of him with the no attitude on the mound. He's ice cold veins. I think he's got potential to have Tom Seaver-esque season.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's a powerful statement right there, my brother. I love it. I think I agree with that. I love it. I think there's no doubt he can do that. There's no doubt about. I think he's in the top three for the Cy Young this year. I think he stays up there for a really long time. I was a little nervous to hear about this vertigo he had going over there at the WBC, but I
Yeah,
heard he had that once before and it went away pretty fast. So hopefully that's not going to be a problem.
right. I want to welcome House of Ill Repute back to Angie's Angles. Thanks for showing up. We appreciate you. Yeah, AJ Ewing is also a prospect. He didn't make my ranking, so um, maybe we'll cover him next week. House.
Okay.
The next one is Carson Benge or Bengi or Benge, however you want to pronounce it. He was rated 8.5.
Benjesh.
Yeah, yeah, Bengay. I got to rub him on me to put my aches and pains away. But he's rated 8.5 out of 10. Now this kid is having some spring at the moment, so it appears that he might make the trip north. Now the whole thing is David Stearns a penny pincher? So do they bring up Benge and lose out on the arbitration years, or does he get the call up in June when we extend that arbitration year by bringing him up in June?
That's a very good point. How does that work, and what do they want to do with that? And who would that then take the place? Would it be Toutman?
It
Would
could be
he?
Topman. It could be you know, depending on who's playing first, you could always sub Polanco out there in the outfield. Um, you got some flexibility. So you got Soto in left, you got Robert in center. Right field currently, by my design, looks like Benge. I do think he's going to get the call north. I think the Mets are salivating to show how deep and structured our minor league system is, and they want to showcase these kids. Now, if Bench takes off, that makes guys like Beatty and Vientos serviceable as a trade come the All-Star break to shore us up. Now, with the added playoff rounds with the wild cards, I mean, everybody and their grandmother is in the race until August the 31st for the most part.
This is true.
And that's another thing that I just hate. And it's
Yeah, let's
benefited.
let everybody in the playoffs.
Right, you get a playoff spot. You get a playoff spot. It's like Oprah Winfrey.
We're inches away from participation trophies here.
Right. So it's absolutely again. So they're taking the purest baseball fan that all of us here on Angie's Angles are. Whether you're a Yankee fan, a Cub fan, a Cardinal fan, whatever fan you want to be, they're sweeping us off into the corner. and they're satisfying the corporations that buy the season tickets, where the Joe Blow shows up in the third inning and leaves by the seventh inning. It's just become a money grab. It's no
Yeah.
longer a simple game of baseball, and these owners are making money hands over fist.
$10 billion a year.
It's crazy. Mark Brooks. Hello, brothers. Late calls of practice with Anaya softball team. I hope she does well, Mr. Brooks, my brother from another.
Go get him. I have a question for you. How many games does Nolan McLean win then?
I got him high teens, 18.
All right, I have him at 14 myself. I got him at
So
I got Freddie at 15 and him at 14.
I've upgraded.
And Ben, he's going to do. Ben is going to do what? He's going to hit how many homers, RBIs, or batting average? What's he going to do? If he plays right field every day, what's that kid wind up when the season's over?
I think we're looking at a 280, 25, 90.
Wow. Really? Because
Yes.
if that happens and even half the other guys come around, the Mets can win.
The Mets could win 100, Pete. And that's why.
I disagree with you on that still.
Yeah,
I got him at 94. I got 94 in my head.
It's 6 games, and their offense and their pitching staff is trifold better than last year's.
All right, well, here's how I see it. Freddie 15, Nolan 14. Whoever the other three are, get 30 between them. That's 55. That's 59. And then you get another 35 out of the bullpen wins, and that's 8. That's 94 wins. That's what I got right now.
So
94 wins.
I said Freddie Peralta. I picked him at 25 wins, bro.
You said 22.
Did I say 22?
Yeah, you said 22.
All right, Peralta. Let's write it down. I'll stick to 25, but we'll write it down for 22. If he gets 22, McLean gets 18. We're at 40 with 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
We're at 40 with 2 guys. All right. Kodai Senga, 18 wins. You can
wow, that is reaching, brother.
No,
he's got to stay healthy. We haven't seen a healthy year out of this guy yet. You can't help the club if you're always lying in the tub.
Sure. So the caveat is, Pete, as long as they remain now, they might have a hiccup injury here or there, but if they get 30 starts under their belt, that's what I'm predicting.
All right, I will see it if I believe it if I see it. All right, I see. So number 1 is McLean. Number 2 is Benge. Who's your third prospect?
So it's Jonah Tong. Now Kevin Elliott down in Hollywood, Florida, asked me this question. He said, "What did they change with Tong? What did the Mets do to make these pitches more viable, more accurate, more successful?" And he and I talked ad nauseum about this, and so it was an easy layup for me. They moved, so some of the pitches, like Manaya, they moved to the first base side of the rubber with that wicked angle that it comes at you with. Tong is all the way on the third base side of the rubber now. So they moved him off center. They put him on the, and this kid's been unhittable. This kid is throwing BBs. Coming at you from the right side of the mound.
So he's not going to break north though, right? He's not coming north.
They said he was not. But interesting developments. They signed him to a 1-year, $758,000 salary.
Yeah.
And if you're Steve Cohen and David Stearns, you're paying this guy close to $1 million to pitch in freaking AAA up in Syracuse. I mean, seriously, how long is that going to last?
Well, that's the question. It'll last until people get hurt, and then he'll be the first one to come up. If there's any injury, any problems, he'll be the first one he'll be the number 1 call up right away.
I'm going to say there's a 40% chance he goes north.
No, I say there's no. You already have 6 starters without him. There's no chance. Unless there's injuries now, he's not going north.
So let's name our starters. We got Freddie. We got Freddie. We got Nolan.
No.
We got Manaya. We got Holmes. We got Peterson. Now Peterson is the guy that's, in my opinion, a swing guy.
Okay, and then you still got Senga. So that's your six. So
Right.
Peterson's your swing guy.
Yeah, I think Peterson could go back to the bullpen to be your long guy out of the bullpen, and or Mania.
I think it
Either
should be
one.
Holmes. I think it should be Holmes, and I'll tell you why. Once Minter is healthy, you'll have Rayleigh and Minter from the left side. From the right side, you only have Luke Weaver and then who? So it would be great if we could get Holmes as the other righty short man for the bullpen.
I don't know if they're willing to give up on that Holmes project yet.
I understand that, but he's to me the one that could do the most help in the bullpen. Is already the most used to a significant bullpen role. Knows how to do both a setup and a closer role already. I know he had a good season too. I hate to disrupt that experiment myself, but if you're asking me which of the six should go to the bullpen, I'm going to say Holmes, mostly because of need, not because he doesn't deserve it or the experiment doesn't deserve it. It's need. We have two lefties set up, man. We only have one righty set up, man. And Holmes is good in the bullpen. He was consistently good for the Yankees, except for that one little stretch. So I don't know. That's the way I would go. But if you go Peterson, either way, that's still five. So there's no room for Tong. There's no room.
I think they could find room for him. I
Wait,
really
go
do.
six? You go Peterson in the bullpen and put Tong and still go six?
Yes.
Can you? Yes?
Yes. And more teams are headed that direction, Pete.
That's a lot. I mean, he'd have to really have a heck of a spring, Tong, to make the Mets decide to do that. For the same reason you also said, as far as manipulating his service time as well, they're not going to jump forward unless they have to use him.
Well,
He's only coming north if they have to.
he already, again, he got the late call up, but he's already on the clock because he got
Yeah,
called up last year.
I understand
So,
that, but they can delay that clock even further if they wait till
sure.
June and bring him up again, you know?
But I don't know if the Mets could afford that. I that's debatable, and you're probably right more than I'm right. So I'll yield to your expert opinion on Tong, but
It,
the kid's
it's a
been pitching
difficult
lights out,
decision. It's not
and,
an easy decision.
and he changed his grip. They worked on him a lot, and he's just throwing BBs. And now, please, I think we referenced Butch Husky last podcast, where Butch Husky was the home run king in spring training, and then he came up to the Mets and I think he hit his first one in May. So spring training is a mirage, right? It's like they're walking the Sahara Desert. Um,
Exactly.
but I really firmly believe that if Tong has redefined himself, and he was the number one pitcher in all of baseball in the minor leagues last year, he was the number one guy in all of baseball in the minor leagues. So that says something too, Pete. You
It
can't
definitely
just
says something. I love the kid, but where are you going to put him? So let me ask you this question. Assuming we know Freddie and Nolan are good, right? We know those two are good for sure. And you want Peterson in the bullpen. Of the other three, who's most likely to either get A, injured, or B, crash? Holmes, Senga, or Mania? Who would he most likely replace? Who do you see crashing the
I think
easiest?
Mania.
Mania.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I
I'll
do.
agree with that. I'll agree with that 100%.
Right,
Mania is either all on or all nothing.
right. And Mania has proven last season, 1 through 3, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6 that he can't find his way out of a wet paper bag.
Yep, that's the problem. Okay, he has no stamina. Okay, after the third inning, he's out of gas already. And once they see him twice into the third time around, they got him figured out. He doesn't have enough movement on his pitches, and so he only has basically 2.5 pitches, and you know where it's going. He just
Right,
has to. If he has good control, he can be very effective. If he doesn't have good control, Mania is going to get smacked all over the building.
right. Harold, I see that you had to go. I appreciate you, Harold. Thanks for showing up every week.
Bye,
You're
buddy.
very well appreciated. Um, so Harold Atkins wants to say, I see Ryan Clifford on the main roster very soon.
Wow, that's
Harold,
another name.
right. So, all right, let's continue my rankings here.
Okay.
Jet Williams, he received 8 out of 10 stars on the ranking system. And by the way, this is not my ranking system. I picked this up off
But
of
Jet
the web.
Williams isn't on our team no more.
Um, Jet Williams is not on our team no more. That's
No,
correct. That's right. Where'd he go? I'm sorry. Where'd he go?
we sent him to Milwaukee in the Peralta deal.
Right. Right. I'm sorry. So let's good pickup, Pete. Thanks for that correction. And then we got Ryan Clifford, who's rated at 7.5 out of 10 stars. So Ryan Clifford, I think he plays the first base. He's a big kid. Um, and he might be the next Alonzo. So again, all these kids, except for McLean, Benge, and Tong, potentially will go north. These other kids will go south. Um, Here's a deep sleeper to watch for. This is something I scoped and I vetted. Jack Weniger.
He's like throwing over 100 miles an hour, that kid, right?
He had it in Double A last year. He pitched it with 2.92. Now, a good friend of mine, Larry Levy, opened my eyes to this a bunch of years ago. He says your best ball players are not in Triple A; they're in Double A, because AAA are retreads or old veterans, et cetera, et cetera. But in Double A, and for this kid to have a 2.92 ERA in Double A, he's got a big, durable frame. He's a big, like a Roger Clemens esque frame. You know, big boy, and he could certainly come out of the bullpen throwing that heat.
That's a very, I mean, I saw a little bit of him throwing, and he was throwing well over 100 miles an hour with ease. He was not working hard, and he was throwing over 100 with ease.
Now, I was at the Oriole Pirates spring training game, and there was a pitcher, and his number was like his uniform number was 500 and a half. So that shows you where he is on the, and he threw hard. He was throwing 101, 100, but he threw violently, a la Paul Wilson. I saw Paul Wilson pitch spring training, and I said out loud, I go, he's not going to last, because you can't keep putting that torque on your arm thrown across your body. It's just not sustainable.
Your body's not meant to do that. Our bodies were not meant to have that action over and over again like that,
That's
or that
correct.
torque on your body.
That's correct. So
Einstein would have told him that if he just would have sat down and took his physics class.
right. So now let's talk about the Braves getting hit and bit again. I think we covered this last week, but 2 weeks. No, was it 2 weeks ago? No, we didn't know about Jerickson profile yet, did we? 2 weeks ago?
No, we did not know that he was going to get busted yet again for
Yet
performance
again.
enhancing drugs. He is
Yet
now
again.
out of the WBC, and he's looking at a full 162 game suspension. He'll be out for all of 2026. Sorry about that, Braves, but there goes your DH.
Yep. And there goes your 15 to 20 homers, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a big thing, because if you can get 15 to 20 homers out of your seventh and eighth hitter, your DHs, the back end of your lineup, that's how you win. Okay. And this kid now is so stupid to take the drugs again and get busted for the second time while he's there at the WBC. How embarrassing. You're there representing your country. You have the uniform on, and they come and they tell you have to take it off, you idiot, because you failed a drug test, you moron.
And the whole story, how I'm a baseball guy. I never did it intentionally the first time, but I accept it. It happened to me. I was given bad advice, blah, 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 blah.
What a
No,
crock.
you did it a second time, you putz.
What a crock. I don't believe 1 ounce of that story. I'm not buying anything that dude is selling. This is ridiculous, these guys. How many times do you think you can get away with this kind of stuff? Obviously, you're just dumb enough to think you can get underneath this very intense testing that they do now. Baseball is very serious about this testing now. And you're already a one-time offender, which means you're getting tested on the regular.
Right.
You idiot. So what were you thinking? I just don't get
And the
it.
Phillies lost two players due to the same situation, which is, I'm happy to see that happen. I just hold my breath that none of our Mets pop up on that list.
How can it possibly be that you're that stupid in 2026 that you would still take performance enhancing drugs after everything that's happened the last decade, 2 decades? The last 2 decades that have been disgusted by the have been ruined. How the home run records that are all got tainted, all that stuff. How could you still possibly want to take performance enhancing drugs? We had teammates turning teammates in. We had all kinds of disgusting things happening because of stupid drugs, and they're still dumb enough to take them. It boggles my mind. You just forfeited $15 million, you moron.
Also, and the cheating, right? With the Class A situation, throwing intentional
Ah,
balls.
it's just I can't even believe that. Like again, you're not making enough money. That's not about money at that point. That's about being an addicted gambler, and you're addicted to the high of winning, of outsmarting everybody, of trying to be the
Right.
smartest guy in the room. That has nothing to do with money because they all had plenty of money. That was about just trying to be super smooth, and I can outfox everybody, and I don't have to. Again, it's another example of professional athletes saying I can laugh at the rules. I can not only not follow them, I can laugh at them.
It's a shame, like you said. It's a complete shame.
Yeah, it is.
So,
It is.
so
All right, let
we're
me give
gonna
you
go.
another topic because, if you don't mind, because that topic makes me throw up. You said just now his 17 home runs is now he would have probably hit seventh for them. So for us, it's either going to be one of the two, either Beatty or Vientos is going to break out and be either the DH, the right field, or whatever, and he could be the guy, one of those two that gets us 30 and 100 from a deep spot in the lineup seven. Which one of those guys do you think is more likely to be, and why, Beatty or Vientos? And could they both break out? Is there enough at bats for them to both do it?
I think between the two of them, although that Vientos has Mike Piazza oppo power, don't sell Beatty short on the oppo power. Okay, and I think Beatty's um, more of a baseball player, and Kevin Elliott has taught me this. Kevilytics, that he wants baseball players on his team, and Beatty's more of a baseball player. He's more athletic than Vientos.
Yeah.
Vientos Vientos is like that 13-year-old who had a full mustache and beard when he played. You know, he never grew up out of it. He
That's
just
exactly what he is.
right. And Beatty, I think Beatty's jacked. Beatty's got a really good arm from third base. The outfield, I think he's more flexible. That he could play third, he could play second, he could play the outfield. I think he started in the outfield today, getting his first taste of it. So I think
So,
Beatty's your guy because Beatty um, is not only has the home run power, I think he's got the potential for the higher batting average.
okay, I like that. Plus, he has the more defensive versatility. That's what I
Correct.
like. You can put
Yes.
him in more places. All right. So for this year, could it be possible? Let's say Benj doesn't come up or doesn't start well. Could it be that you get a full season of Beatty and Wright and Vientos at DH and both of them excel? Is that possible?
Yeah, it's within the realm of possibility, 100%.
So if
Because
all the
that
other guys you said are going to do well and they both do well, holy cow.
there's your 6 games.
There's those 6 games that I'm saying I'm behind you.
Right. Right.
I will cede those 6 games to you and agree with you at 100 wins if
I
that
mean,
happens.
if our pitching staff maintains their health and everybody that's on the roster offensively produces, let's call it 15% above their norm, okay, and that's not a reach. It's not a reach at all. I think you're going to have a hundred win season.
Every pundit, every talking head, every Mets mutt out there says either one or the other, Beatty or Vientos. No way they can both have a good season. I see a formula where they both can have a good season. I really do. And I think that could be one of the big keys to the whole season. Look, we already know you're going to get production 1 through 4. You're going to get production. But if you don't get production this year, which you didn't get last year, from the back end of the lineup, you're not going to win. Okay, you're not going to win. And so,
Let's talk. Yeah, go ahead.
no. So if you can get both Beatty and Vientos, both to have a good year, like the best they're capable, 15% above their average, like you said, and everybody else does the same, I'm doing the Home Alone face at that point. Holy cow!
Kevin Elliott, he claims that 100 wins not happening. What's your number, Kevin? Let's
What's your
hear it.
number, Kevin?
Yeah, the
I
speed
had
speed talk
94,
never
and
holds.
Ange talked me out of it. I had
So
94. He just bridged the gap on those other 6 wins for me.
the other ugly elephant in the room, Pete, that we've not spoken about is one Francisco Alvarez.
Mm-hmm.
He's two years removed from 25 home runs,
Yeah,
right? It's not impossible to see him hit 20 home runs easily.
easily.
He came on at the end of the season last year. He was the reason we were still relevant in the playoff hunt. He won a couple of games. Now with Alvarez and my buddy Rob Roll, um, we were both down on Alvarez, saying he had too big of a loopy swing. That every swing he swung for the fences. Now if he could harness that power, and he too has Mike Piazza Oppo power. Holy
Mm-hmm.
smokes, he
He
has
does, no
amazing
doubt about
Oppo.
that.
So if he lets that ball get deeper in the plate and stop pulling the ball, I certainly see him replicating his 25 home runs.
I think nobody in the Mets lineup will be benefiting more from a long lineup that I just mentioned than Alvarez. If Alvarez doesn't have to hit at the absolute bottom and he has some measure of little protection around him, say, Simeon on one side, Beatty on the other, something like that. Hey man, Alvarez can easy hit 25 home runs. 25 homers, 85 RBIs. Easy. He's got to stay healthy. The key for each of these guys, all of them, we have to say that straight out, is health. If they don't stay healthy, there's no chance they can get it done.
Kevin, I like the if comment. Listen to yourselves, but that's what we have to go by, Kevin. Right? We have to go by the ifs. We don't have the crystal ball. I'm not wearing my turban tonight, so I can't see into the future. But if you take these guys' averages, Bo Bichette, 300 hitter. Louis Roberts, 3 years ago, 38 home runs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Louis Robert is only 28 years old. Let's not forget that. That is lost in translation that he's 28 years old.
Also lost in translation. He's played for a losing team the last couple of years. Any player will tell you you pick up bad habits when you play for a losing team. Now you're going to come into a winning franchise with winning players. He's going to go back to the player he was a couple of years ago. And I think you're going to see Luis Roberts Jr. have a big season this year.
I do not disagree. Plus, quality outfield.
Plus a fantastic center fielder all the way around.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. You got 3 minutes left, pal, and our hour's up. Do you want to get into your prayers?
This is crazy. This has been so fluid.
Yeah.
You bring a lot to the table, Pete, and I appreciate your insight.
Right back at you, pal.
All right. So here we go with the prayer circle, folks. Harold Sanderson, we're praying for Dawn Squared, your wife and your co-worker. Carol and Bob, Doug and Allison. Scott Tobias, we're praying for your wife and your mom and your son Anthony. Terry Sanchez, we're praying for your mother-in-law's move and hope she's all settled in Florida and your mom's legs. Antoinette Brooks, we're praying for your brother Mike, still in search of that kidney. Linda Stein, let's give a extra prayer for Linda as she journeys into her next chapter in life. She decided to make some life changes. She's leaving a stable, excellent job that was killing her with the hours, and she's gonna make some major changes. So we're praying for you, Linda. Kevin Elliott, we're praying for your health challenges and your mental ones. And you haven't answered. You haven't answered us. How many wins do you give the New York Mets? So maybe before the season, the show ends, you could give us that answer. The Krause family, we're praying for Aubrey as her cancer remains in remission. Deb and Lee down in Maryland, we're praying for Lee's health challenges. Marianne Bello, we got some sad news to report that Marianne lost her mom recently, and Christina, her niece. They're a very close family, the Bello family. Marianne lost her brother Ange. I used to have some in-depth conversations with him about baseball. Uh, Larry Levy, we're praying for Frida as her cancer also remains in remission. Mr. McGowan, sir, we have your six, my friend. Just posted on Facebook the other day a picture of him and his son and daughter-in-law, I believe it was, from his rehab bed. Ralph, we're praying for your health and your personal issues are being dealt with at the moment, and we're going to see you up and around pretty soon, buddy. Pete and Shani, we're praying for you guys on this new fabulous opportunity in front of you guys. So we're praying that the
Thanks.
house hunting goes well, my friend.
Thank you, buddy.
Big John, smoke therapy, buddy. We're praying for your friend Irene. Joe Echeverry, happy birthday, Joe. Today, March 5th, is Joe's birthday, fellow Pisces. And we hope that your blood work gets better. West Coast, Dave Prince, you got to make an appearance, my friend. We're praying for you down there. Johnny Barbecue, as he rehabs and reconditions his back with the sciatica surgery. John, we're praying for Elizabeth. My buddy Johnny V, we're praying for your father-in-law. Eric Floyd, we're praying for your mom Janet as she had battled her pneumonia. We're praying for Mike's dad. We're praying Mike's dad Richard, who's gonna have surgery tomorrow, so we got him included in our prayers. Mark Brooks, remain vertical, my friend. We need you around, and we're praying for Anaya's uncle. My sister-in-law Kelly had her surgery the other day. My goodness, they removed a grapefruit-sized cyst out of her. And all indications are it's non-cancerous. We just got to wait for the official report. So we're praying for good news for Kelly. We're praying for Tom, your friend Pat. And I think that's it. And you want to add anybody, Petey? How are your grandkids doing?
I got two new grandkids, 5-month-old Luca and 5-week-old Lachlan, both doing well. But Lachlan has not gained any weight, so let's pray he starts gaining weight. He's only at 5 weeks now. He still looks almost like a newborn. So let's pray he's gained some weight.
Okay, we're praying for both of them right now. Pete, it's always been a pleasure. I'm sorry to the Angie's Angles fans that we were absent last week. It's only the fourth time in my 5 years that I've missed an Angie's Angles. I was on vacation. The day got away from us, etc., etc. I'll be back with Pete next week, but the week after, I'll be somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean cruising with the family. So I'm looking forward to that. I will not have internet access, so I'm going to have to look for the smoke signals. Pete, can you put them up? Depending on any Met news, and I'll read them and I'll report to them when I get back.
Absolutely, my friend.
So, again, I appreciate you, Pete. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. I have fun.
This has been Angie's Angles, come to you live from Smoke Therapy, 215 Ronkonkoma Avenue. If you're ever in the neighborhood, hit me up. I'll buy you a cigar. Pete, again, thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Good night.
Good night. God bless. I love you.